All right, welcome back into the Blueprint. It is the moment that it's really the reason you guys tune into these shows. It's Devin's quarterback breakdown. Final little stat here for you, Devin. Ohio State outgained Michigan 419 yards to 163 yards. So you got the floor, man. Help us understand what you're seeing and what was missed and what can be improved.
All right, so as you all know, we don't just take plays just because it's a completion or it's a positive play and not critique it, right? So there are a lot of opportunities where it technically was a positive play, but it's not what you want. We've been doing it from the beginning of the season to now, and it's tried to guard against some of the mistakes that you would see in the future, but I don't think they were listening, right? So we're going to do it again today so that when you get to the bowl game, you have a clear blueprint of what you need to do, what things are you struggling with, and just because it's a positive play does not mean it's a positive play, if that makes sense. So let's give a reminder of where the blueprint lied to attack Ohio State's defense. All right, you can see that there in the middle. 3 touchdowns, the most of all the areas, 997 yards, by far the most. And then a 72.9 completion percentage, also very, very significantly more than on the left or the right. So just keep that in mind as we go through these pictures. Let's go to the first play, please. So this is just a number count, right? You got 3 Ohio State players at the top over 2 Michigan players. Now, there are a lot of things in play here. 1, 3 over 2. Simple math, go to the other side. 2, it's 2 tight ends versus 3 Ohio State players, right? Now, if it was Colson Lovin last year, might have action.
Yeah.
Your 2 best wide receivers are one-on-one with 2 DBs. That's 2-on-2 with your 2 best wide receivers on the same side with no help over the top. Jake, you've never thrown a football as a quarterback in a football game, right?
Yeah.
Where should you be?
You got to go down to your receivers here.
So okay, let's think of it like for math. If you're just a math major, where should you be?
Down to the bottom.
Okay, let's do if you're just a matchup guy. You just want to throw it to the best players. Where should you be?
Down to the bottom.
There's no scenario in which you should be at the top. However, if you peak the top, I'm fine with that. But you should automatically know I've got to get to the bottom. Next picture. And if you get to the bottom, remember you talked about Marsh, why wasn't he a part of the game? He is a part of the game. He's right there. Right? And he should have the football in his hands.
Oh, my.
But, and I'm just telling you, he gets this football, it's going to be nice. And you can see Donovan McCulley right now, he's doing a more from the inside, right? Remember we talked earlier in the year, mandatory outside release. Now, when you're in the inside, you have to make sure that overhang can't sprint out underneath the hitch route. So he's doing a good job of essentially sacrificing himself, getting vertical. And guess what? When he passes there, right, he might be open as well, but the ball should be out. We shouldn't even think about getting it to McCulley because the ball should be out to number 4, catch, throw, be done with it, and you're going to have a big play. However, he doesn't do that, checks the ball down, and we actually get 10 yards on this play. However, moving forward, that's not going to be conducive to success, right? Not playing the game the way it should be played is going to lend to later in the game, like we talked about in Northwestern, like we talked about in Oklahoma, all these different places. Later in the game, later in the season, you're going to have real issues because you think this is a good play, and this is not a good – this is a minus in my opinion, right? Even though it's a 10-yard completion, one of the best completions of the game, it is a minus because the ball should be out right now. Marsh should have it. Maybe he makes a guy miss and goes and scores. I don't know. He's got real talent. But and then the other thing is getting your guys involved early, right? You got a real opportunity here, didn't take it, but move forward.
This is like, it goes back to the Northwestern game a few weeks ago. It's been a theme of it's about the process. What you're saying, you're evaluating the process, not the result.
Yes. Process, not the result. Now, this is, I think, the next play, if I remember correctly. It's a sprint out. First down. Yep, it's a first down call. I love it. It's a sprint out, the most comfortable thing we've seen Bryce do all day, and this is where the handcuffs come on for the coordinator because we've seen Bryce over and over and over and over again sprint out, do his little sidearm, throw it over the side. However it gets done, this has been almost the best play for Michigan. That sprint out, throw it to a hitch. And then because we've run it so much, Ohio State's a smart defense. Chip Lindsey does a nice job of just giving it a little window dressing, right? So instead of just having these guys run vertical, they run in a cross action, right? So it's a switch release. All right, switch release, and they're just going to set up as curls. Stationary targets early in the game, get your quarterback a completion, right? You tried it on that previous down, didn't get it to Marsh, fine. Picked up 10 yards, got away with it. Now let's try to get him a completion to prove to me that he's seeing it well.
Mm-hmm.
Move on to the next picture. I have no idea what's going on here. I have no idea what's going on here. We've seen him do this every single week.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't throw it. He's wide open. And then he runs and he picks up a few yards. So it's technically, again, a positive play. But for the coordinator, you have to empathize, put yourself in the shoes of the coordinator. You've called a hitch that would have garnered a first down. Didn't throw it, checked it down. Then you call a sprint out, get him on the edge. He has a wide open, again, number 1A, 1B wide receiver, and he doesn't throw it. That is crippling.
This is a bread and butter play.
When I saw this, I was on the field. I said, it's going to be a long day. I think this game might be over, right? And it's because, like you just talked about, I'm process rather than result, right? The result is actually a positive first down play. It's actually a very productive first down play. But the process is just not there. And this was a microcosm of what we saw throughout the entire game.
I think this is one of the base play. When you're talking about offenses, we've seen Michigan run this play probably once or twice a game every single week, and it's been completions on that exact route. They got exactly what you want. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
So everybody's talking Patricia. He's mastermind, and he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
In this game, he did not flex his muscles. And it feels like disrespectful almost. And, there was a quote from the defensive lineman from Ohio State, and they said, yeah, we didn't do anything special. We just had him play quarterback. Like, just make him play quarterback, and he won't be able to do it. And I think they saved a bunch because they haven't seen Indiana yet. I think they saved a ton and was like, hey, let's just be vanilla and see what happens.
Yep.
And because it worked, they were able to just stay in these scenarios, and guys are open all day. It's very saddening, but move forward. Okay, here we go. This is dagger, right? We've seen this over and over again. They've done it from different formations. You got your two best wide receivers at the bottom. You got to clear out from one guy. This time it's not McCulley. It's Marsh who's the sacrificial lamb. He's going to clear it out. And you got the deep in route, the dig from McCulley. Next picture. Now, this is a phrase that I used in the past. People who've watched me, they understand, get in the fight. We haven't used it much this year because there's not a whole bunch of drop back pass, right? It's more quick game and you're not able to really get in the fight. Maybe you've said it maybe once or twice this entire year. Well, in this scenario, this is a perfect opportunity to get in the fight. And you're probably wondering, if you don't know, what do I mean by get in the fight? Where you climb into the pocket, right? The pocket is being formed by the offensive line. You climb into the pocket. And when you climb into the pocket, good things happen, period. Whether you climb and you can find a lane to run, whether you climb and it's clearer for you because no guys are in front of you to make the throw on the dig or whatever the case may be, it's an opportunity for you to find guys and create a positive play through the process. Again, at the top of the screen, you got 3 Ohio State players over 2 Michigan players. And they're tight ends. Not to say we don't like our tight ends, but when we got our 2 best wide receivers, we've got to be working that, especially when the process suggests that we get to that. Get in the fight. Climb in the pocket. Move on to the next picture.
Wait, Dev, stay on that picture, though, real quick. Yeah, because look at the body position of McCulley on the DB here.
He's about to win.
He's cooking him. He's cooking.
Dude, he was, listen, I like to call it getting busy. He got busy all day. And I know he is frustrated. I'm just telling you. I talked to him before the game. I said, listen, you got to get busy on it. He said, what? Oh, my goodness. Because apparently he saw something on film that maybe the rest of the country hasn't seen. And he made good on that. He won over and over and over again. I'm just telling you, he made himself a lot of money. Now, didn't get all the opportunities, but the powers that be, that make the decision, they're going to see against some of the best corners in the country, he got busy. Same with the young guy, but he has a ways to go before he can even go think about going to the NFL. So let's move on to the next one. You're going to see how bad he cooked him here coming soon. You can see if you get into the pocket, which is formed perfectly by the offensive line. I think that we can't let that not go noticed.
Right.
The offensive line did a really nice job against this really good defensive line. If he got in the pocket, it is a clear window, and he makes his throw every day of the week. You want to know why I showed you that picture of where the Ohio State defense is hurt in the beginning?
Because of this.
This is what's – you see where he's going?
Yep.
And this is why they give up so much,
yep.
right? I don't know what it is. And I'm sure Indiana knows, and I'm sure they're going to hit the middle quite frequently.
Mm-hmm.
This has to change. This has to change. With good protection, you've got to climb in the pocket. Let's move on to the next picture. Just show you a different view of you should be done with the left. The left should be done as soon as you – like I said, you can take a peek, but in rhythm, you have to climb into the pocket. In rhythm with your drop, climb into the pocket, get in the fight, and then you're going to see a wide open dig route, and this changes the game because now Patricia has to say, okay, we do have to do something different. Yeah. Right now they're reeling, and you never really put that pressure on them. Yeah. Not to mention, again, your coordinator. What is he? He's handcuffed. He feels crippled that his quarterback is just not seeing it well.
And honestly, like this picture, it's it's one hitch and the ball's out. Like this is rock solid pocket. One hitch right here off the screen to the right is where McCauley is cooking him and winning. And I'd say even this too, Dev, with all this space on these dagger routes, if you hit McCauley in stride,
he's going to come out the back door and score.
He could score. Exactly. He could absolutely score. But this has shown up throughout the year. I know you've talked about it 1,000 times of stepping up into the pocket, the footwork, the rhythm. It's one hitch, ball out, and the game's changed. Yeah. You're right.
100%. Like literally game changing. Like I know you're like, oh, what do you mean game? No, really, game changing. Mm-hmm. Game changing. Moving on. So this was the one positive elite next level play. It gave you some confidence, but there was just far too much of the other, right? So this is one play though. This is an opportunity for us to teach a little coverage, guys. So get your notebooks out, right? We all know cover 4, right? And that means you got the top guy's going to have 4th, the next guy's going to have 4th, the next guy's going to have 4th, and the next guy's going to have 4th. Well, there are different variations to cover 4, right? And some defenses call something different on offense in our room, so we called it 4 special, right? And 4 special means that this backside safety, though he is a 4th defender, he is going to have eyes to number 3, right? And it's versus 3-by-1, right? So when an offense gets in the 3 wide receivers to one side, one to the other, they pretty much, especially if they trust their bottom corner, they say, hey, I want you to get eyes to the opposite number 3 wide receiver. So when he tries to cross across the field, you can pick him up right away. The quarterback will never see it coming. And then at the bottom, lock, right? Mm-hmm. So that's man-to-man at the bottom. And if you're in man-to-man, where should this football go?
To the man.
Here we go. Next picture. Right, so you can see that safety's poaching, right? He's on the backside, and they're leaving man-to-man. And once again, number 1 in the big game blues is cooking. Mm-hmm. Right, a 9-stop, perfectly stops on the dime, and it's on 3rd down. And look at Bryce's anticipation. The ball is out, and McCulley's still facing down the field. Mm-hmm. So it's possible. It's possible. And that's why we have to show these things. It feels terrible to keep over and over hammering a young guy, which, like I said, not young anymore, but you have to because this is what's possible. That is next level coverage. That's the one time for Patricia that he got really kind of extravagant, right? He got a little extravagant, and we were able to find the guy. Next picture. And it's perfect, right? So as you get into your drop, you locate the safety, right? You can see his back is turned to McCulley. He is clearly poaching for special. After you get to the safety, the next thing, in rhythm, the next picture, you have to be going right outside. Perfect pocket again. This is textbook. This is teach tape on what you need to do. Reading coverage, understanding where you need to go at the football. Outstanding job by Bryce Underwood. The only thing is we just weren't able to see this nearly enough in the game and honestly throughout the season.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, man, this is like what Kobe Bryant would say. Like all the grades, they say, man, it is important to watch a film after a tough loss. That's where you improve. Yeah. And basically, the picture you just painted with these photos is it's possible because it's shown up. The same rhythm and quarterback processing that allowed this completion here, if it's done on the dagger, big play, touchdown.
Huge.
If it's done on the earlier plays, big play, maybe touchdown. Like it's just comes back to the fundamental simple things. And can you do them consistently for 60 minutes against the best teams in college football?
Are your feet and eyes right? Are they tied together on this play? This is a plus play because that's difficult to deal with what the defense is doing. You locate, and as much as it's an easy throw, right? It's just a little stop route, it's basically a curl route, not super hard to throw. The placement of the ball is good. We'll love it a little higher, but the placement of the ball is good. McCulley goes perfectly at the first down marker, and you get to move the chains here.
Yeah.
This is what's possible. However, you have to look in the mirror and know what has happened is not okay. If you can be real with yourself, you can improve. But if you're going to keep sugarcoating it and saying, oh, no, it's just young or whatever the case may be, you have no chance, right? You have to be critical and understand it's not good enough. How can I improve? And we've given you the blueprint. It's not hard to find. I mean, it's right on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Next picture.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is verticals, right? And ideally, you want to work away from rotation, right? This is day one stuff. You put verticals in day one, and Jake, you've got it put in differently than for the quarterbacks. You guys get talked about, hey, +2 off the hash or whatever the case may be, all that. We get taught if it's single high, this is exactly what you want, first of all, and you work away from rotation, right? So you can see by the arrow over the safety, he is going to sprint to the middle while the ball is still in the pocket of the running back, right? So this is one of those opportunities where it's saying, was he coached up properly? Because, like, this should be day one. If it's play action, your eyes, this is not an RPO. Your eyes should be on the safety, seeing what the rotation is, right? You located single high, you will be down at the bottom. Now, I will tell you this, 17 Klein, everybody talked about how fast he is. His speed, he got hung up way too much. He didn't stretch nearly enough. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
Now, but the process, right? Because Bryce doesn't know that, right? The process, right? The process. You want to make sure the process is there. And if you see rotation to the middle from this bottom, you need to be down here at the bottom because you're going to have a stop route wide open, right? You'll go seam to stop, mirror route. So at the top, if they were to rotate the opposite way, you will go seam to outside stop, right? Let's move on to the next picture, right? This is where you should be. Away from rotation will be down here. Now, you would love Klein to be higher, right? So he can continue to put stress. But at the bottom, that is a full sprint. Look how far his feet are apart. This DB knows he's going deep, and then he's going to stop and be wide open. Again, perfect protection. But look at the top. Look at the top. Does that look like something you want to do? I mean, the one thing you can do is get to the top the stop at the top, right?
Yeah.
If you were to be on that side, let's go to the next picture. You can see Bryce has not gotten into his drop, and that safety is sprinting. He's sprinting to the middle, right? This is that's why I said it was vanilla by Coach Patricia.
Yeah,
he's very clearly running to the middle. The rotation is going to the innermost route that you're about to try to throw. You should not be throwing that, right? Move on. Look where he is.
Yeah.
He is getting chewed out in the film room by Patricia right now. This is a pick six. And they're going to say, against Fernando Mendoza, we have to make him pay. You cannot allow, with a perfect defensive call based off of what the quarterback is doing, allow this to be a completion. However, next picture. Incredible by McCulley.
Yeah.
Incredible. Oh, my good. And you want to know what's even worse about this? Right?
Yeah.
This ball shouldn't be thrown. And if you look to the left of McCulley, as you're looking at this picture, look to the left of McCulley.
Yeah.
That third defender, that's the corner. Guess what's wide open on the outside?
The stop.
Right. So, again, process, not result. Process, not result. We should be to the right. Okay, we're not to the right. We should know we got to get outside to the stop to the left. However, I told you he was cooking, and I told you he made some money.
Yeah.
This is incredible. He knows he's going to get hit. He knows the safety's there. He skies up and snatches this ball out of the air. Shouldn't have been thrown. Outstanding play. And I can all but guarantee you, got to the sideline, wasn't a discussion. Hey, great job, great throw. That's all it was. When it was, this is a minus by the quarterback and a plus by the wide receiver.
Man, so that's a thing, and I think that's the great part about this show and listening to you teach is you have to attach your perspective of your game to the process, not the outcome. Exactly. Like, and I don't think I haven't heard anyone talk about that besides you this year. That's a great play. You celebrate because of the outcome, but the reality is the process wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And then you zoom out a little bit, Dev, and you say with Michigan being 9-3 on the season, it didn't cost you because you only played one other team with a winning record in conference play, which was Washington.
Mm-hmm.
It costs you against the best teams like Oklahoma, like Ohio State, like USC. You have to attach your perspective of yourself and your team and your unit on the process. And if the process isn't good enough, changes have to be made.
Yeah, that 9-3 is a little fickle. It's a little fickle just because of what you played against. But let's move on. All right. This is a pretty cool concept that I really haven't seen much all year, right? We've seen it, I think we've maybe seen it one or two times, but I haven't seen it a bunch. And I like this from Chip Lindsey. You got deep in routes, right? At the top, right? We used to call it double dig, right? And then you the tight end.
Yep.
Klein's going to get to the flat, right? It's a beautiful, pure progression read where you just go through your reads and then your eyes will take you to the right throw. Move on. I don't know what's going on. I don't. It's a perfect pocket. You can see Bryce's arm is already throwing to the check down, and your best receiver, 1A, 1B, number 4 in the big game blues is going to be in the middle. And remember our first statement of this picture breakdown, the middle is where they give up the most throws. I don't understand how this is an option. And it's a completion, and, your completion percentage will be, not affected, I guess. But this is third down. And it's dialed up perfectly by Chip Lindsey. I have to give him his credit. It's dialed up perfectly, and we're checking the ball down literally as soon as you got the ball. It feels like with a good pocket. The offensive line was battling. That was that. I honestly don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Move on to the next picture, and it'll just show like how even more wide open he is, and the ball hasn't completely been caught by the running back. That's because we've seen him be able to throw digs, right? It's a throw of strength, I think, for Bryce Underwood.
Yeah,
and I just want to take you back to when we first started this breakdown. When your first two throws are you don't throw the hitch, check it down, and then on the sprint out you see a guy open, you don't throw it. This is going to be a long day.
Yeah,
right. He just wasn't seeing it well, and that's something that can happen, right? You would love for it to not happen in this game. But it's something that can happen, and we had tried all season, like you just talked about, to guard against this, right? To continue to give the blueprint on the things that need to be improved, because you can't just go about playing essentially Little League football where, my guy's better than yours. Because most of the guys that you played against this past year, your team was better, period. There's nothing the other teams could do, right? If Bryce wasn't seeing it well, you just run it down the throat, right? You just do whatever you want to do, except for the teams you named. Oklahoma, USC, and Ohio State.